down, Iron Man.
G'day, welcome to PopYaCulture. I'm your host Cheno, and I'm Iron Man. G'day, today I'm going to be covering off on 10 Marvel superheroes that should be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe / Netflix / ABC television shows. At number 10, I'm going to count down to 1 with the 10 Marvel superheroes from the comic books that have yet to appear in this media combined universe that we haven't seen yet that I think should enter into them. Okay, so number 10 is Hyperion, who is Marcus Milton, who first appeared in 1969 in the Squadron Sinister, who was from another reality, an alternative reality, and Squadron Sinister was actually based on DC Justice League. So Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, although Wonder Woman's equivalent wasn't in it yet, The Flash, etc. So, which involved the Wizard and Dr. Spectrum and Nighthawk, who was the Batman equivalent. Hyperion was the Superman equivalent in this instance, and he is kind of taking a bit of a stab at Superman in some ways. And with the Squadron Sinister, they came in and fought the Avengers in this instance. So it was kind of Marvel having a bit of a go at DC back in the day, and I thought that was pretty cool how they did that. So a lot of these characters have fallen by the wayside, and a lot of other characters were added that also were direct copies of the DC universe, just all having a bit of a laugh and, you know, all in good jest. However, the character Hyperion has appeared several times throughout the Marvel comic books in many different incarnations, such as King Hyperion, Zombie Hyperion, and there's several universes, particularly in the recent Secret Wars comic book event, which brought quite a few of them together. However, over the times, Marcus Milton has evolved and is now an Avenger in some of the comic books and is getting around as a superhero. The character Hyperion has all the same abilities, very similar to Superman, including X-ray vision and atomic vision instead of heat vision, as his powers seem to be nuclear based. And his original origin story, although not ever really explained, is said to be somewhat similar to Superman, where he comes from another planet, although it's never said that it's being destroyed or anything like that, but he comes and chooses to live amongst us humans on planet Earth. In also that his alter ego Marcus Milton is actually also a journalist. I really enjoy the character Hyperion. I guess it's just because it's having a bit of a stab at Superman, but I think he has an impressive power set. He's Superman. But I like the way they've done him. I like the artwork for him, and he's not like he doesn't have as much pressure on him as Superman, I feel. And I don't think that anytime soon we're going to see Hyperion in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I think somewhere down the road there's room for him. They could bring him in, and there's no reason why there can't be a copy of Superman virtually around the movies. And obviously Marvel will cop a lot of flack for this, but let's face it, they can do pretty much whatever they want, and we're going to go and watch it because it's freaking awesome. And I really feel like Hyperion could really add an interesting dynamic to the greater Marvel universe when we have like our Avengers movies and the joint together movies. Number 9, the Fantastic Four. Right, so we had the Fan Four Stick movie a year or two ago, which is pretty much the worst thing I've ever seen on the face of the earth on a television screen. Like, wow, take me back to Street Fighter from the 90s. I'll watch that before I watch Fantastic Four Stick again. Absolutely terrible to every degree, but we don't need to go into that. So, with that set in mind, the movie is currently owned by Fox Studios, and we're truly hoping that they just give up on it and give it back to Marvel. But it's unlikely because they can still make money out of it, and that's what Fox is about. Their original attempts at the Fantastic Four franchise were far better. the original movie was great, and the sequel, Rise of the Silver Surfer, wasn't too bad. The fact that Galactus was a giant cloud in it was really terrible, but they did the Silver Surfer well, and for the time that these movies were released, they were pretty good. So, the Fantastic Four isn't the worst comic book. In fact, it's actually a pretty good comic book, and when they were making it, because they've seemed to have dropped off with production of Fantastic Four comic books in the Marvel area, due to the fact that, well, we feel they're just trying to stick it to Fox and not giving any free promotion for their movie. So, there's definitely potential to be made, and the Fantastic Four are so pivotal in a lot of, particularly Reed Richards, in a lot of the major events that could later make great movies down the track, that I feel if they got like just at least one Fantastic Four movie in the cinematic universe, they don't really need to keep making them, just have them in other movies and guest starring and so forth. If it does well, yeah, make another one. If people are going to enjoy it, that's a good idea. So there is a little bit of hope that something like the Spider-Man deal with Sony, where they now sort of jointly own the rights, Sony still owns the rights, but Marvel can use him and so forth, as we saw in Captain America Civil War. Due to the fact that Fox and Marvel are teamed up at the moment making Fox's Legion show, which is about a mutant from the Marvel Universe that they own the rights to. So that's really exciting anyway in itself, that they've teamed up and that Marvel's going to have some influence over a television show produced by Fox about a mutant. So look forward to seeing that. So that said, though, the fact that they're teaming up gives us some hope that they could later maybe talk about the Fantastic Four coming into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Originally, Fox did have hope that they could have the Fantastic Four crossover with their X-Men franchises, but that doesn't appear due to the fact that the movie was such a fail, like just a massive fail, capital F. So if they were to, we're hoping that that could be something that happens down the road. One thing's for sure is that we are going to get another Fantastic Four movie, because whether or not they give the rights back, team up with Marvel, or don't do anything like that at all, their contract to retain the rights to the Fantastic Four requires them to make a movie every 6 years. So, 6 to 7 years, either way. There's going to be another bloody mess come from Fox, unless they just wake up to themselves and use the source material. Read the comic book and make it into a movie, not have your own friggin' interpretation of a Fox. Okay, number 8 is Captain Britain. So, a lot of you probably didn't realise there was a Captain Britain as well as a Captain America. Captain Britain is entirely different to Captain America and is not a super soldier. In fact, Captain Britain's personality is even completely different. He's a shy, meek son of aristocratic parents, and upon them passing, inherits their scientific organisation. To get his frustration out, Brian Braddock, who is Captain Britain, goes for a motorbike ride and crashes. He is then confronted by Merlin, the guardian of the Omniverse, who asks him would he like either this magical amulet or this magical sword. He picks the amulet and then is awarded the powers of Captain Britain, who's basically, he's mystical, so he's magical, which once we see Doctor Strange at the end of this year, magic won't be such a hard thing to swallow in the Marvel Universe. He carries around Excalibur with him occasionally. He has super strength, he can fly, he can shoot energy beams, project force shields. He's pretty cool. So, initially when he was released back in the early 60s, he was just sort of this magical Captain Britain protecting Britannia. He later evolved into being this agent for the multiverse, and in every universe and different dimension of Earth there is a Captain Britain to guard the multiverse, and they are often referred to as the Captain Britain Corps. I really enjoy the character Captain Britain, and I believe that he would make a really new, different aspect to the MCU, and I don't think he needs to come in anytime soon, but maybe in Phase 4 or Phase 5, he'd be a really great character, add a new dimension it's a lack of better words, to the MCU. Also, he is actually the brother of SheHulk, the mutant who we saw in X-Men Apocalypse, which she technically appears in his comic book first, so therefore there might be some grey area there, and Marvel might be able to use SheHulk if they bring her in under the guise of Captain Britain. Obviously she wouldn't be a mutant because they can't use the term mutant, but they've got freaking Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So I'd really like to see SheHulk team up with Captain Britain for a bit of a British superhero team in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 7. Ghost Rider. Marvel recently reacquired their rights to the Ghost Rider franchise, and there are rumours that it could be becoming a Netflix, and I hope to God that is the case, because the Nick Cage incarnations of the Ghost Rider franchise were terrible, as you probably know, and to see Ghost Rider done correctly, and I believe in a mini-series format such as Netflix with like 10 to 13 episodes would be the best way to deliver him. You don't have to get all the storyline out of the way, explain why is Ghost Rider and all that, etc. And then that would really set up a really deep and meaningful Ghost Rider that wouldn't have to be so corny. So, truly hoping to see Ghost Rider in the Netflix universe soon. Number 6, the Red Hulk. Yes, that's right, there's a Red Hulk as well. Most of you probably think there's only a Green Hulk. Funnily enough, we've already met the Red Hulk in the MCU. That's right. General Ross Thaddeus Thunderbolt, who was in the Hulk movie and recently in the Captain America Civil War movie. Although he's no longer a general, it appears. Still, I think they can find a way to turn him into the Red Hulk and adapt this to the MCU. In the comic books, when we first meet the Red Hulk, we have no idea who he is, and it is some time until we discover that Mordok and the Intelligent group created him as a super soldier, ironically using the man who hunted the Hulk, and they had the Red Hulk kill a life model decoy of the general so that everyone thought he was dead. It is later revealed that the Hulk is the general, and Bruce helps him to get under his way, and eventually he becomes a hero as well. Also, this would possibly give another angle to bring Liv Tyler back into the MCU from the original Hulk movie with Edward Norton, although Edward Norton's not the Hulk anymore. We could bring her back in as she's his daughter and also a former love interest of the Hulk character, now played by Mark Ruffalo. And that would also give us possibly, because Betty Ross, the character herself, has turned into she's the Harpy, and eventually she becomes the Red SheHulk, which I think would be also, later down the track you could have that if you needed more characters, etc. So there's a lot of interesting story to be done around this. I don't see the Red Hulk really fitting in anytime soon, but maybe towards the end of Phase 4, I'd like to see like a Thunderbolts movie, although General Ross isn't actually connected to them. I think they could do something like that where he's like organised it, although that's pretty much the Suicide Squad, but I think Marvel could still get away with their own version of them that they have, the Thunderbolts, and then later leading to perhaps him being fed up with it and somehow becoming the Red Hulk. So that would be another interesting character, and who doesn't want to see the Green and the Red Hulk fight on the big screen? That would be almost just as epic as Hulk versus the Hulkbuster. 5. SheHulk. Yep, that's right, another Hulk. This is the first female Hulk. SheHulk's name is Jennifer Walters, and she is actually the cousin of the Hulk that we already know. I believe that the SheHulk would be best delivered in a Netflix format, because I think she's a bit more of a street level type superhero. She's not as strong as the Hulk, but she has more control over her form and her strength and her anger. Jennifer Walters' father was a Los Angeles sheriff, and after he died, a criminal organization that was tangled up with her father comes after her and guns her down. It just so happens that at the time that she's gunned down, her cousin Bruce Banner is in town looking to perhaps hide out with her while he's on the run. The blood donor around in an emergency, he has to give her a blood transfusion because her blood type is really rare that he has the same blood type. Although he's reluctant to do so, he does. And then later, while she's recovering, when the criminals come to finish her off, she hulks out and she becomes SheHulk at this point. Like I said, she's not as strong, and she's kind of smaller and very feminine, and she's a great character. And the other thing is, she's a lawyer, and if she's in the Netflix universe, along with the movie universe, it would be a great chance to have a bit of a cameo from Matt Murdock, and have Jennifer Walters and Matt Murdock in in a courtroom, just for some reason. They could just throw that in there. It'd be great just to see that crossover. And then later she can join the movie universe, etc. too. So there you go. That's She-Hulk. She-Hulk for number 4 is Angela. And this character isn't traditionally a Marvel character and was actually in the Spawn comics. However, in 2013, Marvel bought the rights to the character, and since then have made her an Asgardian. She is a Valkyrie, traditionally, and so she's now the assassin of Asgard, Angela. Pretty cool character, and I think this character would be really cool to maybe take over from Chris Hemsworth's point if he ever puts down his hammer. Obviously there's other incarnations of Thor now, with Jane Foster picking up the hammer recently, but I think maybe they could throw, she's a pretty good character, and they could just have her in there, maybe not necessarily as a main character, but I think it'd be great to see her on this big screen. So yeah. Number 3, Namor. Namor is basically Marvel's Aquaman, but he's a lot better. He's the king of Atlantis. He's a lot more brooding. He's a much more deeper character. He's not always trying to be a hero. He does at times, but his first interest is Atlantis and looking after the sea. So with us polluting the shit out of the sea and just the general neglect towards it, he's not exactly our best friend. So I think Namor could come into the universe as an antagonist first, particularly if the Fantastic Four brought into it. He's often been an antagonist of them. He's also actually the second superhero from the Marvels. He used to fight alongside Captain America as the Submariner, and although I think the lore is too solid now that they couldn't actually incorporate that part, but definitely Namor could be brought into the modern day Marvel universe, and I think you'd make a really interesting, different side to it. Because unlike I said, unlike Aquaman, he's not really a hero. He's kind of torn between protecting the oceans and from us, and occasionally helping us more when the globe is threatened on a much larger scale. Unfortunately, Namor's rights aren't exactly clear to where they lie. Universal Studios originally purchased him back some time ago, and although apparently they've reverted to Marvel, we've never really gotten any quite clear confirmation on who still has the rights. But the Hulk still is owned by Universal Studios for solo movies for production rights, so they made a movie about him and they still use him in the Avengers, so there's no reason why they couldn't bring Namor into it. And in fact, in Iron Man 3, Namor's name appeared on a map while Nick Fury was talking to Tony Stark as an Easter egg along with Doctor Strange. So that was cool. Number 2, Rescue. Now you already met Rescue, that's Pepper Potts. During a terrorist attack by Ezekiel Stane, the son of Obadiah Stane, the first bad guy in the Iron Man first movie, Pepper is hurt drastically, and in an effort to save her life, Tony puts an arc reactor in her chest, so there's a slightly more modified and upgraded arc reactor to the one that he originally put in his chest. It actually is able to heal her body faster and regenerate her. At first, she doesn't go straight to being rescued, but when Tony Stark is blamed for the secret invasion and is on the run from Hammer, the reform shield under Norman Osborn, the CEO of Stark finds a suit hidden away for her called Rescue, which is a completely defensive suit only. It has no offensive capabilities, although it is quite capable of actually causing damage. You can generate magnetic fields, catching planes, etc., and helping in disaster relief and all this sort of stuff. I don't think we're ever going to see Gwyneth Paltrow reprise her role as Pepper Potts. Perhaps if they threw power suit at her, she might be enticed to come back, and I really would hope so. I thought in Iron Man 3, when she got the extremist in her, that Tony might have to put an arc reactor, and this might lead to her later being rescued. I really like the character Rescue, and I'd like to see it come to life on the big screen in any way, form. I figure if they couldn't get Gwyneth Paltrow back for Pepper Potts, perhaps they could have like her niece come and stay with Tony or something like this, and then she finds out and for some reason she becomes Rescue. They could bring her in. They could do it. They can do whatever they want. I would personally prefer to see Gwyneth Paltrow back and in the rescue suit. That would be freaking amazing. Absolutely love that. Okay. Number 1, SpiderGwen. Yeah. So this is Gwen Stacy. We saw her in the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, but she's actually from Gwen Stacy from an alternate reality where she gets bitten by the spider instead of Peter Parker, and she becomes Spider-Man, and she has quite a different outfit. So from there, Peter Parker is sort of inspired by her and wants to become more like her, and then he in turn himself goes and uses the DNA recombinator and tries to become like her, but in turn turns himself into the Lizard, the first adversary of Spider-Man. Spider-Gwen is forced to stop him, and when she does, she actually kills him. When he turns back into Peter Parker, she realizes what she's done, and then she realizes the fact that she neglected to listen to him, that he wanted to be like her and to guide him, as opposed to just ignoring him, is what led him down the path of becoming the Lizard. And she realizes that with great power comes great responsibility, and thus in her own universe she is thrown into being Spider-Man, Spider-Girl, Spider-Gwen. However, there's later on in the normal Spider-Man universe, there is a thing called the Spider-Verse, where all these different bad guys from different universes are coming together. So a Captain Britain Spider-Man from another dimension travels the multiverse, bringing all the Spider-Men together. Spider-Gwen is one of them. Spider-Gwen's now in the main universe after the Battle Secret Wars event. So obviously we're only getting our first Spider-Man movie for the MCU next year, but I believe that maybe even in the next Spider-Man movie, or at least somewhere in Phase 4, there's room for Spider-Gwen, because she's freaking awesome. Everyone loves her. She's one of the best characters in the comic books these days. So yeah, Spider-Gwen in the MCU. Alright, well, thanks for joining me today at PopYaCulture. That's our top 10 Marvel superheroes to go into the MCU that aren't there yet. Please let me know what you thought. Please let me know who you think should be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Netflix, ABC television universe. I'd love to hear that. Also, please, if you like the video, like it down the bottom, subscribe, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Alright then, that's it from us today at PopCulture. Good hooroo. I'll catch you later.